Hello, cosmic beings. Welcome to Being Cosmic. If this is your first time here, welcome, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I am so glad that each and every one of you are here. My name is Devon, and I will be doing a collective message today. So, with that, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Okay, so we're going to get into it. Um, hmm, I might be part of this. I was guided to look at the bottom of the deck, and we've got the Y card. And so the way that I take that is like introspection, really kind of digging deep into something, and really seeing, kind of looking just, yeah, just like diving into something, really trying to find the why or, just deeper layers of something. Anyway, um, what I was going to say really quick before we fully get into this is thank you for your support on the channel. The likes, shares, comments, subscribes, and the donations all really do help out. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so we'll see if that Y card comes up again. That might just be a little side note for somebody who's kind of questioning things. Oftentimes when it comes up, I'm getting like esoteric stuff or like soul connection, like kind of digging deep into things like that. Yeah, there we go. Fates, the fates. That's talking about soul connections. That's talking about destiny. Um, so I'm actually being guided to take a peek at this in the book. Fate, karma, acceptance that there are things you cannot change, and knowing what those things are. Okay. So, um, okay. So in this guidebook, there's like different sections. So it's like relationship, prosperity, and then protection. For each one, I think. Yeah. Um, and I was guided to the relationship section. So this might be about relationships. Especially because when I was thinking about this the Y card, soul connections did come up in that. So you could be really looking at different connections in your life and, is this a soulmate? Is this karmic? Is this, maybe you're looking at even deeper connections like a twin flame, something like that. And really just kind of like looking at it, unpacking it, really looking at it from different angles to kind of figure out what's going on. Who's meant to stay in your life, who's meant to, who are you being asked to release? um I feel like there's this energy of getting into alignment, which, is kind of something we do for like a long time. Like it's kind of just like in my experience anyways, it's one of those like, we bounce in and out of alignment all the time. And then the goal is to do your best to stay in alignment as much as possible, but some days are just harder than others. There's some attachments that we have that suck us back into, some old cycles, old patterns, and then it's, an invitation to look at that again and go a layer deeper. So it's one of those things, like if you're sitting here and you're like, I'm really having a hard time staying in alignment 24/7, just know that that's kind of part of the process. The more you practice it, the more you release what you're being asked to release and so on and so forth, the easier it is. But it's still, it's still a process. It's still, it's understanding that there are forces around us every single day that are trying to pull us out of alignment. And so it's just understanding kind of the nature of that whole situation. Um, but I was guided to look at the relationship part, and what the main thing that popped out is it says other people are who they are, you can't change them. The challenge is to accept them as they are and not try to make them otherwise to suit you. This is the time. This is a time to look at how you attempt to mold people to fit your view or how they should be so you can remain in the relationship and avoid discomfort. What if who they are and whatever is happening in this situation is perfect from the perspective of spirit? Now it's time to accept what you cannot change, even if that means you honor yourself, spirit, and the other person by moving on. Love unconditionally, for each of us is on our own journey, and we cannot direct that of another. Be aware that this relationship is indeed fated, and you are meant to evolve into a better version of yourself as a result of it. Okay, I'm getting a few different threads of potential energy off of this. So just kind of take it as it resonates. This could be, and I'm kind of getting like maybe looking at a lot of different relationships with people in your life. A like, oh. Okay. So I was trying to see if anything else wanted to come out because when I saw this card mixed with this card, what the message was that came through is the divine masculine has a leg up when it comes to their person, to their counterpart. So this could be an extension of that energy that I've been picking up on for a while now that, it's pretty dominant. And it's really because there's a divine masculine collective who's on the brink of really reuniting with somebody that has a very powerful soul connection. And and if that's the case, you have a leg up on this. I'm also feeling like you're being given a leg up with your perspective on different situations, on different relationships in your life. Yeah, I'm gonna turn the light on. We got a we got a funky, just a funky time of day with the sun. Anyways, so yeah, this is really just saying that you're being given extra assistance in whatever situation you're navigating right now that has to do with relationships and the dynamics between them. I'm definitely getting a counterpart energy. So we'll see. That might be, the main message, but we'll see. Chaos and conflict. Okay. And chop wood. Okay. Interesting. So I actually heard a couple messages come through. So I was looking at the chaos and conflict card. What I heard was that the masculine in this situation has a leg up on the competition. So if you are looking at reuniting with somebody or going towards somebody who you have a very deep soul connection with, it's basically the person you're being magnetized to right now, you have a leg up on any of the competition. Then we've got chaos and conflict and chop wood. Okay. Chaos and conflict I mean, it's just talking about experiencing chaos and conflict. You could be experiencing chaos and conflict in relationships because of this card out here, this fates card. So that could be something that you're dealing with. Getting okay, so interesting. Normally, all of the readings I do for the most part are timeless. So anytime you're watching this, it's meant for you. So just know that. What I actually heard is this is actually I heard it's the week like a weekend message. So you could be experiencing chaos and conflict with certain relationships, and it's something that you're like dealing with over the weekend, or it's something maybe you're going to reach out to somebody over the weekend. There's something about the weekend that just popped up. And I'm recording this on a Friday. So um take it as it resonates. Again, if you're watching this on a different day, maybe it's the weekend coming up, maybe it's the weekend that just passed, which that could be as well. Maybe last weekend was a rough weekend for you and there was a lot of chaos and conflict. If you're watching this when I post it, last week was Mother's Day. So maybe there was something around Mother's Day that was kind of difficult, especially if you have a challenging relationship with, a parent. Or, I'm kind of getting a thread of energy. It's like it's a karmic energy of a masculine being with somebody who is a mother, and there was chaos and conflict over obligations to like do something for Mother's Day, something like that. Kind of a random side note. Okay. And then we've got chopped wood, and this is talking about like mundane tasks and finding joy and happiness and peace in like those daily tasks. Something that's coming through for this, our words are very, very powerful. And so it's understanding that there's energy behind your words. And the thing is, and I really work with my daughter on this a lot because she's 12. So we're starting the whole like, I don't want to help out. I don't want to do certain things. It's all good. It's normal. But um, when I tell her things, I'm like, it's time to do this. And then like I don't know why I'm sharing this right now, but she fights me on like taking a shower. Um, but then when she gets in the shower, she doesn't want to get out. Or like she tries to get out of brushing her teeth. And I'm like, you've brushed your teeth every night before bed since before you had teeth. Like this is nothing new, but she just fights against it. And so what I tell her is instead of saying I have to, say I get to, because it changes the experience. You're doing the same thing, but it changes the experience. So instead of I have to do dishes, I get to do dishes. And that can change that experience because it's one of those, it changes your perspective. So I have the ability to do dishes. I have dishes that I get to wash. I have food that I get to prepare and put on these dishes that then get dirty, that I get to wash. It just changes it. It's still the same task, it's still mundane, but you turn on some music and, just get to do your dishes. It's a very different experience than I have to do something. Um, so maybe that's, helpful for somebody is you can kind of start changing some of your language around certain things, and that can change the intention around just mundane tasks. I have to pay bills, I get to pay bills, you know what I mean? Like, or and even with that, switching it from bills to expenses, it has a different energy. Like, oh, I have expenses, it changes that energy. It's not so like, oh, I have to pay my bills. That just has a different energy than, oh yeah, I'm paying some expenses. It totally changes that energy. So, you know, get fun with it. I always have fun with tricking my brain. Anyways, so we've got a change in the wind. Okay, so something's changing. That was something else. I don't know if I actually said it. I think I did. But something else like with this over the weekend energy, maybe you're going to reach out to somebody that you've been debating on reaching out to for a while. Um, yeah, so that might be extra confirmation for somebody. A change in the wind is talking about, is that the energy? Yeah, okay. Um, this is really talking about if you continue to fight against your divine guidance on what you're being guided to do right now, you're going to continue to feel like you're on shaky ground. So just remember that. So if you feel like you're on shaky ground and you're not quite sure how things are going, and you're trying to manifest but things aren't really popping off because you're being guided to do a specific thing, there's this, yeah, this could be, I'm getting this masculine counterpart energy that's coming through. So we'll use that as an example. Take it if it resonates. This is just an example, but this could be, a big part of this message. So if you've been being guided to reach out to somebody that you have a deep soul connection with, and that is the next step the divine is guiding you to take. When you ignore that next step and you are focusing on, like, well, I need to have this done first, so I'm going to focus on this, the way that it works, and it's very frustrating from a human perspective, but it's just understanding how energy works, how alignment works, and how us from the human level on the ground level don't always see the entirety of the picture. So it's one of these things where, okay, I'm not going to reach out because I'm getting like money, right? So I'm just using this as an example. I'm not going to reach out because I need my finances to be in a better position so that I can have something more to offer this person when I go towards them, and when it comes to a point for me to like make a romantic offer. I need to be able to have, some amount in the bank or the ability to go do this lavish thing or whatever it is. If the next step for you on your journey is to reach out, that what you're focused on over here might not pop until you reach out, because it's an energy thing. And so there might be something that you are not seeing at the ground level from the human perspective that the divine can see and is like, hey, if you focus on your money and you ignore this soul connection, this could happen. And then maybe it's, I don't know. Like I'm not really getting anything, but maybe it's one of those like this is the perfect time to reach out to this person. Everything's a go. The energy's perfect between you two. You're both in alignment with each other, so on and so forth. But you decide to wait to focus on your money, and then this other person shifts and changes their energy to a different vibration, and then now it's not really in alignment for you to reach out at that point. So now it's going to take you even longer to get back into alignment with that person And then, maybe it's one of those things, and again, this is just an example, but maybe it's one of those things like you could reach out now and you've got like a certain window of time, but if you choose not to, then the divine might come in and say, okay, you over here, you go, we're going to help you in a different way. You over here, you need to focus on this and this and this and listen to the guidance. And so maybe it wouldn't be right for you to reach out for another 6 months or a year. You know what I mean? Like it's that kind of energy where it's one of these things. Like I feel like there's a perspective that you have from the ground level and the divine's coming through with other guidance, but you're not seeing why it would be that. There's that why there's that why card. You're not seeing why that would be the guidance, because it's one of those, I need to have this done. I need to be in this position. I need to be over here. I need to be doing this. I need to look like this. I need to have this, da 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 da. And you're focused on all this other stuff. And the divine's like, no, go now. Because all of that other stuff is going to pop into alignment really fast as a result of this. And so, yeah, I feel like there's definitely something there with understanding that when you don't take that divine guidance and it's clear that this is the next step on your journey, you're going to feel like you're on shaky ground until you actually do that thing, until you make that step, until you let go of that thing. This is also like if you're attached to something and you're like, well, I really want to do this thing, but I want this person to come with me. And the divine's like, well, that person can't come with you. So you need to release your attachment to them before you get this thing. It's that kind of thing where it's one of those, like, sometimes because we don't see it from a higher perspective, we're looking at it on the ground level and we're like, no, this is what makes sense. And the divine's like, no, trust me, go over here. This is actually like, this is the shortcut. I know it doesn't make sense to you right now, but it will. Clarity will come. Um, okay. Yeah. Anyhow, let's see. Anything else on Snap? What? Co-create. Okay. Yeah, I'm really huh. Okay. So yeah, I'm definitely picking up on that counterpart thread. But this can be more open on other aspects of life as well. So I will talk about the counterpart thread when it pops up, but understand that that's not the only thread of energy coming through on this one. Um, for now. So co-create. This is really talking about coming together with somebody in alignment and creating reality together. Being on the same page, having similar visions, and then being able to lock into that vision together and create together. It's also just talking about co-creating in general and understanding that yeah, and maybe there's a little bit of surrendering that you're being asked to do, or releasing control in some way. If you need somebody to show up in a certain way, or you need a certain relationship to look a certain way or be a certain way so that you feel comfortable. It's understanding that it's two people coming together that are both, conscious. Well, we're creator beings, and then when you go through, the ascension and get to certain points, then you become, a conscience creator. And when two conscience creators come together to create, it's magical. It's really, really powerful. Um, but it's also understanding that, you're dealing with another like whole being over here. And maybe that's, yeah, let me pause it really quick. Hold on, I gotta get some water. Okay, so a couple things. Um, so I just paused it and got some water and stuff. And then I was really feeling into this because at first it was like, oh, it could be this, it could be that, it could be so on and so forth. And then it's just like it's the thread of energy is leaning more and more towards a counterpart kind of energy. It's like an extension of the energy I've been picking up on quite a bit for the past little bit here. It's divine masculine energy who is in physical separation from their actual counterpart. For a lot of you resonating with that energy, I do feel like you might be in a different relationship with somebody that is not your counterpart, and that's part of this chaos and conflict. That's part of this change in the wind energy. But I was trying to pull through like other threads of energy as well to not like pigeonhole it as a counterpart reading or like a divine masculine reading. But the more I was like trying to grasp other threads of energy, there just wasn't any. And so I was like, okay, is this is this a counterpart energy? And yeah, it is. Okay, so with that, we've got more of a direction on what this energy is. Um, because yeah, it's the only thing really coming through. So we're just gonna follow it. If other threads of energy come through, I'll bring that up, of course, but this is definitely, I'm getting like this is a divine masculine energy. So you would resonate more with the polarity of being a masculine energy, but also understand we have a balance of both feminine and masculine energies within us. We just tend to resonate with one polarity naturally. Um, but it gets weird because when you're in a wounded state, you tend to embody more of the opposite polarity. You'll see wounded feminines in their masculine energy a lot, vice versa. So this is really a masculine who is resonating with the polarity of being a masculine, and you're really shifting into your divine masculine energy. And so that's really what I'm getting, and there is an opportunity for you to come together with somebody and co-create, which would make sense on the example that I gave, because this is the energy of, this is why it's time now. It's one of those things like there is something in the energy. Oh, I'm hearing an interesting thread of energy. You are more in alignment with your person than you realize. You are actually more in balance with your person right now than you think you are. There's, okay, okay, interesting. So that might be part of the illusion that's been coming up in some of these readings, because I'm seeing like the Seven of Swords energy in my mind, which is illusion. So that could be part of the illusion that you've been dealing with that's been causing chaos and conflict, probably, is because there's a part of you that is doubting that you are actually in alignment with your person, because you're viewing your person in a different energy in some way. Or something's being illuminated to you to where you think that it's unbalanced, or that it's like this thing where you actually have a leg up right now with your person, with your counterpart, but you're not seeing that. You're not seeing that you are actually in the perfect energy right now to align with your counterpart. Mm, interesting. Oh, so I flipped the deck over, and on the bottom of the deck we have breathe. I'm being told to read it. Okay. I'm taking this as just like, take a pause, take some deep breaths. Um, you know, like, remember, breathe from, if you breathe from the base of the spine at least a few times a day, it can actually help flow the energy through your body. Um, Patience, waiting, going slowly, wellness, meditation, and trust. Okay. Um, oh yeah, so take a breath and let nature take its course. Release constriction and anxiety. Savor the moment, and know, oh, and the waiting won't prove difficult. Your heart knows, but the ego often resists learning. Okay, so it says patience pays off in meaningful ways. And the thing is it's one of these things like your patience in this situation is paying off. Um, and maybe there's going to be something, maybe it's something, so like with this counterpart energy, maybe it's something where you're going to go towards your counterpart and you guys are in alignment with each other, but you're going to have to be patient while your person clears some stuff up, and your person might have to be patient while you clear some stuff up, something like that. Oh, geez. Okay, all three of these. Gotcha. We've got serendipity. I love this card. It makes me happy. Just that word alone makes me happy. Like serendipity. Okay, we've got serendipity, deep knowing, and a higher power. Okay. So interesting. The energy is really kind of weird right now. Um, yeah, I might have to kind of reset and ground a little bit because I like had the message and then it just went somewhere. Um, so what's going on with the spirit? A deep knowing, serendipity, and higher power. Okay, what I'm hearing is you have a deep knowing that you have a leg up with your person. That's one of the messages coming through. Um, there's a part of you that knows that you are a perfect match for your person. And so there's this, you know, it's kind of worthiness stuff, like a little bit of self-confidence stuff coming up. But oh, interesting. So when I said that, I heard there's something about your counterpart that triggers your confidence in a way that other people don't. Which I'm just going to tell you is a normal thing. So if you're normally one that has a pretty decent level of self-confidence, not like egotistical or cocky, but just, you're confident. Like you're confident in your skin, you're confident in who you are, you're just, you're more confident. Yeah, your counterpart could be triggering that a little bit and making you like really look at it like, okay, am I really actually confident in this area of life? Or, it's just, and again, like that's a counterpart dynamic. I try I can assure you that happens with your feminine too. Um, it's kind of a dynamic within these, relationships because it's shifting you into, alignment and for you being your highest version. So it's going to have you questioning things like, am I actually being all I can be? Am I actually living life the way that I know is true for me? So it will take you layers deeper. So just remember that. It's not a sign to like not partake in it. It's just understanding that, again, if you go towards your counterpart, there's going to be deeper layers that are revealed to you. But it's not going to all happen at once. I'm hearing. It's going to be kind of like you're going to kind of ease into it. Like, yes, this is a situation where this person does reflect back to you, all of you. And so that includes, unhealed stuff, but that also includes your most authentic self. And so with that, yes, it's intense. Yes, there's going to be more processing, more, shifting into alignment, things like that, but it's not going to be like all at once. It might not be as overwhelming as it was in the past, is what just came through. So keep that in mind. Um, And then serendipity and higher power. Oh, okay. Being told to read serendipity. So let's see here. I might have to get a different deck because this energy is it's not fully coming through right now. Opportunity allied with readiness, the awareness of synchronicity, luck and good fortune appearing as signs and symbols, a magical alignment of events. Spirit has a plan, and that plan is to place you in front of the right person at the right time. You have met or are about to meet someone vitally important to your journey, someone spirit wants to bring into your life. Only divine forces can plan this. It is out of your hands. Pay attention to the signs spirit presents. Okay, so what I'm getting is so if this is talking about your counterpart, I feel like you've already met them, you've already experienced them in some way. I just got a visual. So maybe you've been intimate with your person. Um, And when you think back on it, you're like, "That was divinely orchestrated." And then the thing is there's this energy coming through that you might be waiting for spirit to bring you your counterpart, like, yeah, I just heard a serendipitous meeting or a random run-in. Spirit will do that in certain scenarios. But then there's scenarios like in some of these counterpart messages where sometimes, after some time, spirit will bring you two into the same place at the same time randomly. And then there's sometimes where you are going to be pushed to actually reach out and to connect that way, to break no contact that way. So if you are waiting for your person to be magically brought to you right now, that might not happen. And the reason is in it, this is going to vary. This is why it's really, really important for you to listen to your own intuition. Because the thing is there's something about some of this energy that I'm getting where it is actually a part of what you are being called to do in order to fully shift into alignment. There's this energy of like, if you're sitting there waiting for spirit to bring you and your counterpart into the same place, but the guidance is for you to reach out and break no contact and to take that leap of faith, then you might be waiting for something that's not going to happen because the guidance is for you to reach out because you need to again, I don't like to say the word need. Because there's something about it where you're really being guided to take that leap of faith. you're being guided to really put yourself out there, be vulnerable, and see what happens. And allow yourself to tap into your inner knowing, because there's a part of you that knows how this can and probably will go. And you're being guided to reach out because the energy between you and your person is where it needs to be for a reconnection of some sort. And so if you're waiting for the universe to bring you your person, to a location where you both are, and you're waiting for the signs and the synchronicities to make that happen, but the actual guidance that you're getting is to reach out, you might be waiting for something that isn't going to happen, at least for, oh, I'm hearing like it might happen for some of you, but it might be like a long time from now. Like, from the human perspective. So just know that. This is where, yeah, I'm feeling like it's really, really important for you to listen to your intuition, connect with your higher power, because sometimes the universe, well, a lot of times the universe will do that. You'll have serendipitous meetings with random soul family people, like soul tribe, and you will get random, like, oh my gosh, I just ran into you at the store and we had this great conversation and now you're my best friend, like, that stuff does happen. Or with your counterpart, like, you might have just been expecting, a totally different situation, and then boom, in walks your freaking counterpart and it changes your entire life. That does happen. However, in certain situations, you are being guided to take action and show the universe basically that you are ready for this, that you do want this, that you are willing to do what it takes in order to lock this in and make this happen. So, yeah, that's the message. Got it. That one was, that one took a minute to come through. Okay, there we go. Oh, give me just a second. So I had to ground my energy in a little bit because these next two cards that flew out, I was like, I don't know what the message is here, but then I got it. So what we've got not for you that landed on the higher power and deep knowing. And then we got soulmates that came out in reverse on chaos and conflict. So at first I thought this was talking about your counterpart. And I was like, okay, so are we in the doubt energy that your person isn't your counterpart or they're not really for you? But the message that actually is coming through, this actually isn't your counterpart. This is a different person in your life. This would be most likely a romantic thread of energy that is coming through. That's why I kind of wasn't sure if it was the counterpart or not. So because the soulmates card came out in reverse on chaos and conflict, what I'm getting is you could be dealing with somebody in a romantic sense that you have a knowing is not for you. You know this person is not a soulmate. The energy coming through though is there might have been a part of you that was trying to make that fit. There might have been a part of you that was trying to make this connection into something that it's not. And that could be part of this chaos and conflict, is if you're dealing with that, plus you're dealing with the pull from a counterpart, it's gonna cause chaos and conflict. I mean, it just is what it is. And then I'm being guided to actually read the not for you message from the guidebook. So it says some relationships carry an innate in hold on, my words aren't wording properly today. Some relationships carry an innate seed of failure in them that is obvious from the beginning, but the red flags escape your observation or you refuse to acknowledge them. When a relationship is not meant to be, it is not possible to make it be. Rejection is a sign that you are being protected by the divine. If you are the one who must reject another, remember that you do so for both of your sakes. For every pot there is a lid. This one may not be the best fit for you. So that could be part of what's causing a lot of chaos right now for you, is knowing that you're with somebody. Maybe you're kind of unpacking that. Maybe that's that like why energy that came up at the beginning, where you're like trying to unpack this and you're really thinking like, why did I think that this person was, a soulmate? and they're not. And then you're kind of looking back and you're like, oh, damn, there were red flags. There were some things that should have, kind of like some alarm bells that kind of did go off, but I didn't pay attention to them. I overlooked them, or I'm hearing some of you, yeah, this does happen a lot. Maybe for some of you, take this if it resonates. For some of you, you could have been looking at it as though this is a twin flame dynamic with this person, because there is this like it's a highly triggering energy that happens between counterparts, and so people mistake that and try to make karmic situations fit a twin flame dynamic. And it happens all the time. It really, really does. And so maybe that was part of it, something like that, where you were like trying to make it fit. You were trying to make it be a soulmate, and you're at the awareness now, especially, being on a counterpart journey. You've already experienced a true counterpart dynamic. And so there's going to be a part of you, even when, you're in that initial stage of the relationship and everything's great and wonderful and you're in that honeymoon bubble, and you're getting to know each other, and oh my gosh, this person is perfect for me, and so on and so forth, and then you're really trying to make it fit. There's still a part of you, you had a deep knowing at some level that this wasn't that person for you, because you already met your counterpart. And so you've already felt what it feels like to be in the presence of somebody that carries your same soul frequency. Or if it's not identical core soul frequency, I feel like for some of you it really is. Like it's a true actual twin flame dynamic that you are dealing with another person that you're not communicating with. For others of you, it's a very high level soulmate that might carry a little bit of a twin flame kind of dynamic. It's just not going to be as intense as far as the triggering and all of that. That's the difference, but it's an intense recognition regardless. It's just twin flames like take the cake when it comes to that. I mean, it's one of those things when you actually meet your twin flame and you actually have that eye contact and you actually have that experience of being in their energy. You can never ever replicate that with another person, even a very high level soulmate. It will always fall flat just a little bit. So, I feel like that was something that was kind of suppressed, kind of buried, just beneath the surface, that's come up to the surface to say hello recently. Um, and I'm hearing something about a spiritual awakening, so that'll do it. Um, yeah, so maybe that's something that you're dealing with that's causing some chaos, which would make sense. And then that's bringing up the other energy when I read, yeah, there we go, all the glitters. Yeah, it was a situation where, well, first, what I was thinking of is that energy of like, accepting people for who they are, and, where they're at on their journey, and, so on and so forth. That could be part of what's going on as well, is really seeing this other person as though, maybe at one point you really thought that you could, do life with this person, and then now you're looking at it like, no, this is actually not my person. This isn't for me. Um, and then this all that glitters energy. I do feel like there was an energy, at least for some of you, where you did at some point really think that the person that you are romantically engaged with right now, um was, a true soulmate, was really somebody that you could do the rest of life with together and have this beautiful, happy, harmonious connection with. And just over time, you've realized that it's just not going to fit for you. It's not going to be that dynamic for you. It's not going to be, you can't force a karmic to be a soulmate. It just is what it is. And so that's where, seeing it, grieving, accepting it, that's really important. And then I'm being shown that breathe card. So, take some deep breaths. Whatever you do, meditate, spiritual bath, spiritual shower, that kind of thing. Clear and cleanse your energy. Allow yourself, journaling really helps, writing it down so that you can actually see it. It can help process it. Um, 'Cause there's a lot of internal conflict going on right now for the energy that I'm picking up from. Um, Poised. I like this card too. It's very fun. Um, where are we gonna put this? like right in the middle. Okay. So this poised energy is going right in the middle here. And it's basically saying like you're perfectly positioned. Like the divines got you in like a really perfect spot right now, even though you don't see it. I feel like you don't see it. But you really are in yeah, you're right where you need to be. Being ready, bringing something to light, being at your best and confidence. Um, Okay, it's talking about having nothing to prove right now. You are being completely yourself and you can handle anything. Love, friendships, and harmonious new connections are all present now or are coming in. You're ready to give and receive from the heart. This is a beautiful place to be. It's also talking about being confident and happy in your own skin, and being in that energy allows you to be ready for deeper, more intimate relationships. So you don't realize it. You don't realize that you are in the perfect energy to go towards your counterpart. Even if you don't fully release this soulmate connection yet, and you just go towards your counterpart to start a communication, like a line of communication to kind of, because I feel like there's still a part of you that needs some clarity, and you're not going to get the clarity until you actually reach out to this person. So there is still that element of you reaching out and breaking no contact that's really going to help illuminate what's really going on. And it's really gonna help you to fully see some things clearly. It's gonna, like, bring a lot of clarity and bring a lot of things into perspective for you by doing this. Okay, just a second here. So, I had a slight interruption, no biggie, but, um, while I was tapping back into this energy, um, I was kind of feeling into it, to see, like, what if there's anything else I wanted to come out with these cards and so on and so forth. Well, something that came up is there might be what could be going on with you right now is you are sitting here like, I need to have this done. I need to have this done. I need to have this situation with whoever this person is handled. Um, the thing to understand, and it's funny because this is actually something I'm going to sit with and ponder because that's what I do. But there's an energy that is very, very common when it comes to twin flames, where it's one of these things, like, it's a very, very common thing where when twins are called back together, it's pretty common for one or both to be in a different relationship, and I don't know why, and that's something, like, I'm gonna sit with and kinda ponder because I've never really thought about like why. I just know that that's a common dynamic. It's just part of the dynamic a lot of the time is for one or both people to be in a different situation romantically. And so if that's something that you're like, well, I need to have this cleared up and I need to have that cleared up and so on and so forth, understand that the huge part of these connections is for you two to come together, energetically assist each other, and maybe like even, well, it's not maybe, it's in the physical realm too. You help each other in a way to continue to shift into alignment. To I'm holding an upside down card for you to stare at. Um, continuing, to shift into alignment, to become the best version of yourself. When you are continuing to do that, connecting with spirit in a deeper way, things become clearer. Clarity comes. The next steps on the path become very clear. And it's this energy of like being able to co-create with this person. There's just a compatibility here where you two can co-create together very rapidly. And so just know that as well, like that's part of these dynamics. It's not really common in these situations for both people, both twins, to like wake up, go through a spiritual awakening, and then have everything in their life cleared up and then they're ready for this, like completely. um that does happen, of course, but it just depends. So understand, if you're looking at your life right now and you're like, it's a little messy, don't let that stop you. Because if you're getting the guidance to reach out, there's an energy where your person, and it could just be energetically, like you just speaking to them and having this touch point of speaking to somebody who's on the same path, basically. That alone can give you the oomph and the extra motivation to clean things up very rapidly. So just know that as well. If that is what's stopping you from doing this, don't let that stop you. If you're like, oh, it's a little messy right now. And then I'm hearing for some of you, you might not be seeing that your feminines, they're cleaning some stuff up too, or they're like in the midst of it's like a midst of a quantum shift almost. Or I just heard on the other side of it. Um, and so with that, that's a full identity shift. And so their life might be in that kind of cleanup phase too. So just know that I'm being shown basically like this is one of those things where you're going to reach out and realize how on the same page you both really are, even if it doesn't look like that from the outside, because I feel like you have a way to view your person, maybe through social media, maybe you see them, maybe there's mutual friends, something like that. So it's like you've got a little bit of an insight, but you're not seeing the full clear picture. You're only seeing a snippet of what's really going on with your feminine. But you can feel your feminine energy. So you know they're going through shit. That's what I just heard. So you know they're going through some stuff, but you don't know what it is. Excuse me. That was confirmation burp. So yeah, so you could be feeling your feminine. Okay, that's another energy coming through. There might be a part of you waiting to reach out because you don't want to add any pain or chaos and conflict to your feminine's life, but actually you reaching out is going to do the opposite. Um Even if you've got stuff that you need to clear up in life and you're not quite ready to make an actual like romantic offer if that's something you desire, there's something about you reaching out to them and just communicating with them that is actually going to bring like peace and stability to their life as well. And then we've got new life here. And so it landed on this not for you, which is on top of the higher power and the deep knowing card. And yeah, it's one of these things like now that you know that this other connection isn't what you previously may have thought it was with whoever that you're romantically interested in. If that's not the thread of energy for you, this could be something else. This could be like a family member or a friend or something like that. But because we do have the soulmates out here and I was getting another romantic thread of energy, I'm feeling for a lot of you, this is another actual romantic person that you are engaged with in some way, not necessarily engaged to, just you're dealing with another romantic person. And the thing is now that you know that this person isn't for you, now you've got the awareness and the clarity about it. So that is what gives you the recipe to really shift into this new life that is that's available for you right now. And you're perfectly poised for it. The divine's coming through to help you with this new life. And you could be going through a quantum shift too. You could be going through a major identity shift. And basically what it is it's just shifting into the best version of you that you have access to in that energy. And so it's just, ego death and all of that fun stuff. Um, really shifting into a new version of yourself. And so yeah, that definitely could be something that you're doing as well. That's a mirrored thing. No place like home. Um, what I'm getting from this energy is it's like a return home. Ugh, yeah, it's that energy of like I feel like when you think about a new life with your counterpart, it just feels like everything's right in the world again. That's the best way I can put it. It's almost this energy of like maybe for however long it's been, you've been feeling like you're living somebody else's life or something just isn't quite right. Nothing like you're like living life in your life and you're, finding joy and happiness and stuff and in certain, moments and things, but there's just something that's always just been off. And maybe you didn't know what that was for a long time. But I feel like you kind of have the awareness now that it's, it's your counterpart, it's your person. And so it's one of these things like when you allow yourself to reach out and extend that offer, it's this energy of coming home. Ugh, mushy. So this has been a very weird reading. Just it's almost like I've had to dig for the energy. It's not flowing through like freely like it normally does. And then I've gotten a lot of like interruptions just randomly throughout this reading. So beings that that's the case, what I'm actually getting is that could be symbolic of what's going on with you. So maybe you are doing your best to like focus on this counterpart situation and figure out how to bring this in and what to do about it. Then you've got all this other shit going on just in life in general. I feel like you're going through, you could be getting ready to go through like some major life changes. Maybe it just has to do with like interpersonal relationships with this other person that I feel like you did previously think that this person was a soulmate. And that's a doozy. When you think somebody's a soulmate and then you realize that they're not, it's painful. Like it is what it is. It's something, to kind of grieve and process. So maybe that's part of what's going on is you just feel like you have so much going on right now and you don't know which way is up. You don't know what you're really being guided to do, but you have a deep knowing of what to do, but there's a part of you that doesn't want to do it. My throat chakra's also been doing a really weird thing in this reading as well. Um, and so it could be simply the need to communicate, but not allowing yourself to do so. Something like that. And it's causing conflict. It really is. On the other side of this communication, though, because I'm really taking that this is communication with your person, you've got a new life and it's happy, happy. And it's the energy of like feeling like you're finally coming home. And it's such a good energy. And so if you can just focus on that and really just hone in on how good that feels, and then allow yourself to take those action steps that you're being guided to take right now. Um, this is what's waiting for you. It's a new life where you're just happy, happy. And it's serendipitous. You know? Okay. All right. Yeah, you're getting ready to birth a happy, happy new life. To the sea. Okay, I got a really funny message, and this is gonna sound harsh, but okay, so it landed on the soulmates in reverse, and then what I heard is it's about time to send this connection to the sea. Like it's about time to send this person to the sea. So maybe not literally, but it's this energy of like releasing and letting go and allowing it to leave your life. Um, it's interesting though, I don't feel like and maybe it is time for this. I don't know. That's going to be something we can clarify with Tarot to see if it actually is time for this or if you're being guided to wait to disconnect from this person until you reach out. Um, again, it's kind of like an energy thing. And so the divine knows like if it's going to be easier for you to do this first and I'm really getting that for a lot of you it actually might be better to wait until you reach out because once you reach out to your counterpart and just kind of talk and then realize you're like on the same page with things, then it's one of those I'm feeling like you have like this energy return where a confirmation verb again. Okay. um you've got this energy return where you can handle this situation in just from a very different energy where you're not so attached because you know for sure what is waiting for you. And so it's one of those like, if you think about that, think about how much easier it would be to be in contact with your counterpart and know that your counterpart is on board for, and I do feel like it's a romantic union with you and your counterpart. And so it's one of those like think about how seamless it's going to be to release things that are no longer in alignment because you're in communication with the person that makes you feel like you're home. And then it's one of those like it's only up from here. Like it's just continuing to anchor in this new life with your person that feels like home. Then I'm being called to read it. So, um okay, so it's talking about being in the flow, returning to source, recognizing how pieces fit together in a natural pattern of events. So that's exactly what I was just talking about is understanding that when you tap into the flow state and you're listening to the divine and you're following that divine guidance, things become a little bit easier. Releasing things that no longer serve become easier because you're starting to get a taste of what's on the other side of it. So it's going to be worth it. And I feel like there's a big of you. Okay. The message that I just heard randomly that threw me off course was something about tasting your counterpart. Okay. Um, maybe metaphorically, maybe literally. That's just gonna vary. But anyways, what the hell was I saying? That totally just intrusive thought. Okay. To the sea, being in the flow state. Yeah, connecting with the divine, being in the flow and following that guidance. And then when you're in that flow state and you're following the guidance, things just become easier because you start to get insight on what is on the other side of releasing certain things that you previously had an attachment to. Okay, there we go. We got it out. Unfinished symphony. Yeah, that one's come out quite a bit in this energy. This is talking about having unfinished business with somebody. And I'm also getting there was also another thread of something of like a childhood dream coming back online, something like that that also is intertwined with your counterpart. So that could be part of this as well. So like if you're waiting for your finances to shift or you're waiting to start a business or you're waiting to do something like that until you reach out to your counterpart, it's one of those things like by reaching out to your counterpart, you're going to get more clarity and guidance on how to move forward when it comes to your career or a child. I'm getting like a childhood dream that turns into a career. So whatever that is. And then for some of you, it's like a little bit of like a morphed childhood dream. So the one that I use a lot because it just personally resonates is like if your childhood dream is to be a performer and then you go through a spiritual awakening and you live life and you don't, for me, I hit roadblocks all the time on that journey. Um, and then all of a sudden it comes back around and it's like, okay, I'm still performing, but it's in a different way. But I'm not really actually like performing. I'm just being my authentic self. But I'm still, making myself visible to the masses. There's things that I know are coming where I'm probably gonna end up on stage, running like a retreat or hosting, meditation or like motivational speaking, that kind of thing. So it's still being on stage, it's still being visible, but it's not, being a worldwide performer celebrity kind of energy. It's different, but there's still similarities. There's still like the core of that is still there. It just looks a little bit different. So that could be something that's going on as well. And you're not going to get the clarity on that until you reach out to your counterpart because there's something where you and your counterpart are going to, for some of you, maybe it's working together on this childhood dream that's resurfacing. For others of you, it's just going to be an energy thing that naturally helps to pull you into alignment with source more so that you can really receive that guidance. Okay. So yeah, this unfinished symphony has to do with career and your counterpart. For sure. Just something on the desk just fell. Oh, lip gloss. Okay. Never ending story. Okay. Okay, I'm being told to read it. This one, yeah. Oh, there we go. Okay. Self-criticism, wounded ego, unnecessary drama. Um, Okay, so it says sometimes your heart enters into a contract with another that results in pain, not because of abuse or neglect, but for more complex reasons. Shame, fear of intimacy, and low self esteem are great challenges to success of relationships. Consider how valuable this knowledge is, however. Right now, you have an opportunity for important healing, but you must reflect on the stories you weave about love, connection, abandonment, rejection, and loneliness. Not only do you need to begin a new story, you need to forgive yourself for telling yourself the old ones. Have compassion for the part of you that believes all of those narratives. None of them are true, anyways. I feel like this is something you've been processing, especially when it comes to this counterpart situation. Um, I am getting that it was deep core wounding that caused a separation between you two. And so that could be something, well, it probably is stuff that's coming up to the surface for you to look at right now. Make sure you're having compassion for yourself. And this is where standing in your authenticity and taking accountability for it when you do talk to your counterpart is going to go very, very far. And I feel like at this point on the journey, your counterpart knows, at least to some extent, what was really going on behind the scenes. It's like I'm seeing the divine coming through and illuminating some things to your counterpart. where they have a greater understanding of your side of the story, but it's also important for you to communicate that with your person in the physical world. So that's another tricky thing with these dynamics, is because you are so connected. It's one of those, like, you'll just know things about your person and your person will just know things about you, but it's very important to communicate that clearly in the physical world, because it's confirmation and it doesn't leave room for doubt. So it's one of those, like, shifting from having a purely energetic connection into anchoring this into the physical realm. And yes, that's going to require you to look at some of these things and to really stand in your authenticity, take accountability, but also not beat yourself up for it, because you were operating from the place that you were, for reasons outside of yourself, really. And it was an opportunity for you to go within and look at those and heal. And you've been doing that. So allow yourself to have that compassion for yourself on facing some of this stuff. I know that there's like a completion on some of these things that are happening, and it's really going to fully close. Like, some of these cycles are really going to fully close when you allow yourself to go towards your counterpart and be vulnerable and open and honest and take accountability for your part in the situation. It's not taking 100% accountability for the entirety of the situation, because it's always a two-person party when we're talking about a relationship. There's always stuff on both ends. It's one of those, it's very rare for one person to be completely at fault for something and the other person's just sitting there, an innocent victim just receiving bullshit. Like, it's that's a very rare thing when we're talking like romantic relationships. It's normally a two-person shit show. That was funny. We've got loyal heart on the bottom, and this is really talking about that counterpart energy, unconditional love, and so on and so forth. And then we've got clean it up. And what I'm getting from that is it's time to clean this up. And there's something also with you and your person being able to help each other clean stuff up together. And again, it might not be like you're actually doing things, in the physical world to help your person and vice versa, but it's just an energy thing. And the card below this is the orphaned card. And what I'm getting is it's this energy of, by you not feeling alone and your person not feeling alone anymore and having that sense of like home while you're going through some of these major life changes, is really, really going to help. It's going to help so, so, so much. And that's something that you're not fully seeing right now, because you're looking at it from a ground level. You're not seeing the impact that this is energetically going to have on your life and how speedily you're going to be able to clean this up once you go towards your person, because you're not going to feel alone. You're going to feel truly supported, truly seen, truly understood. And it's going to help assist you just by that alone, and really making some of these changes that you are being asked to make. I feel like there's some things that you are aware of that you're going to have to let go to fully get in alignment. And there's a part of you that's like, fuck, that's a lot, or I didn't think I would have to let this thing go, or, something like that. But it's, yeah, it's going to be so much easier when you're in contact with your counterpart. We've got message in a bottle, and what I'm getting from this is, it's okay, there's a couple things coming through. One, there is the telepathic energy coming through where you're sending your counterpart telepathic messages and wondering if they're receiving them. Um, I'm hearing that they are receiving some of it, and you probably are receiving some of theirs as well. Um, but that's something that's not going to be confirmed until you communicate with them. Um, there's this other energy of um bringing them your message clearly. And so it's shifting from sending these telepathic energies to your person in hope that they're receiving them, to actually, standing in front of them in the physical world and being open, honest, raw, authentic, um, and all of that. Okay. Anything else from this one? And then are we going to do truth be told? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, Interesting. So it's time to go the distance and speak your truth to your person. And it's also time to fully understand and believe that this connection can go the distance. I feel like you do have a deep knowing that this connection can go the distance. It can be sustainable for the rest of this life if that is what you desire. Um, and it's also time to go the distance. It's time to close this gap between you and your person and speak your truth and get this off your chest. It's really time for that. You're gonna feel so much better when you do it. It's just such a relief energy. Even if, it's one of these things like it's an anchor point. So what I'm getting is it's like a lifeline kind of energy that's coming through. So it's one of these things like you're going through chaos and conflict. You're experiencing a lot of upheaval in your life in just different ways. Realizing different things, understanding where you're in alignment, where you're not in alignment, where you've been doing things very unconsciously, and then now you want to change that. It's that kind of an energy where it's just like everything is kind of in upheaval. You're on shaky ground with this change in the wind energy. It just feels very unsettled. There's a little bit of a dark night of the soul energy coming through. um it's really intense. It's really chaotic. And then I'm seeing this energy of like you in the middle of this kind of storm, and then you reaching out to your person, it anchors you. And so it's like, okay, now I can deal with all of this that's going on because it's like an anchor point. It's this lifeline that is going to assist you in navigating everything that's going on externally. And then the same thing happens to your feminine. And I don't think you understand the effect that your energy has on your feminine either, because there is this energy of it's an anchor point for both of you. It's a lifeline for both of you. It's like, okay, I'm not orphaned. I don't feel like I'm alone with, like everybody around me. I have one person that I can connect with that understands me on a deeper level than, anybody really. But, it's a lifeline. It's this energy of like, it helps to bring it's this energy. I'm trying to think of how I can explain what I'm seeing. So it's almost like this energy of like kind of being in the middle of like a tornado where everything is just whipping around and you're kind of like getting tossed around in it. And then it's like this energy cord between you and your person that really like locks in, and then you're able to like stand in the middle of this like spinning windy storm energy. Hopefully that made sense. But yeah, it's kind of an anchor point. It's a lifeline for both of you. And so just understand too, if you're worried like, well, I don't want to bring this chaos to my person. It's one of these things like, one, I'm hearing your person's not scared of your chaos. So there's that. The other thing too is it's one of those like it's not going to be a deal breaker. You're not going to get judgment from your person. That might be the big thing. If you've experienced a lot of karmic people, you are used to people judging you. It just is what it is. That is a dynamic between karmic situations. It is what it is. So if you are used to everybody around you judging you, just know that your counterpart isn't in that energy. They're not in a judgmental energy. They're in a discerning energy. So they can see things from different perspectives, but they understand the complexity of being a human. They understand how when you're living unconsciously, you find yourself in the middle of a shit show and then it's time to clean it up. They get that. They've been through that. And they're going through a different form of something that's kind of similar right now. I'm not getting that it's the same, but I'm getting that there's some major things shifting in their life right now too. And so it's this perfect energy for you two to come together and kind of anchor each other in and be like, okay, what is it that you're focused on? What is it that you want to do? Okay, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm seeing for the future, but this is my current situation. This is the mess that I found myself in. And then your person's like, well, this is what I'm going through. This is the mess that I'm in, and it might be different, but it's one of those things like you both are in this energy of really, it's almost like you're really, really struggling right now, both of you in your physical life in different ways. And then by you two being in communication with each other, it helps lift some of that just heavy, heavy energy to where it's not like your external world is going to change, just because you reach out. But it's one of those, it's going to help you energetically shift both of you to where then you're able to be like, okay, we're both on board. We both want this. We know we can go the distance. So, what is it that you need to clean up in your life? This is what I need to clean up in mine. This is where I'm being guided to. What are you being guided to? Oh shit, we're being guided to the same damn thing. Um, so, let's come together and get the divine guidance on how to work together. And maybe it's platonic for a while. And then it shifts into a romantic situation for some of you. It's just going to depend, but yeah, that's really what's going on in this energy. And that's why it's really, really, I'm hearing like imperative for you to reach out now. And it has to do with peace, because your person is going to bring you peace while you clean up whatever needs to be cleaned up in your life, and vice versa. It's one of those, like, I'm just seeing like two of you, like you and your person, just taking this massive deep breath and just like, oh fuck, okay, I can do this. It's just like, it's such a relief energy when you two are communicating and working together on life. Yeah, and then we've got Treasure Island. Oh my gosh. That is literally, yeah, you're going the distance with your person to Treasure Island, baby. Like, that's good shit. Um, Treasure Island, that's dream timeline stuff. That's dream reality. That's manifesting the life of your dreams in multiple ways. This is in all the ways. Relationship, career, life purpose, so on and so forth. And then we've got this Y card out here. But it did come out in reverse, which is interesting. I don't know if it's actually in reverse. I don't really take a lot of these cards in reverse, but let's take a peek here and see. Okay, motives, driving intention, the power of knowing the why. Um, huh. We don't always know why we engage in our relationships in the way we do, mostly because our feelings aren't always logical. Now is the time to recognize whether you're being triggered by someone else or if your behavior is motivated by unresolved issues in the past. Um, it's talking about spending time introspecting, listening to the messages from your intuition. Um, It says, in the end, life is all about being loved. Miracles and a deep understanding of your needs and how to get them met are the buried treasures of the why. Uncover them by posing the most powerful question you can ask yourself and your partner today: why? So, interestingly, what I'm actually getting from this, because of where it landed on All That Glitters. And so I'm actually getting two different messages from this card. One, I'm getting that you've been doing a lot of introspection, and I feel like you had some things revealed to you about the connection that you're currently in with a romantic person. And then you also got some awareness and insight and clarity on what's going on with your counterpart, why you still feel them, why you still, can it's just this energy of like why that person still feels like home, even though I don't feel like you've talked to them substantially for a while. And so it's one of these things like, why does this person still feel like that? Why have I looked for their energy in other people? Why haven't I ever found that energy or that type of connection with anybody else? It's that kind of stuff. And I feel like you've done a lot of introspecting, and it revealed some things to you that maybe you weren't quite ready for at the time, but it's revealed to us in perfect timing. So remember that. Um so they've already done that. Okay, yeah. So you've already done this introspection and come into the clarity and awareness of that. And I feel like you've been doing that in multiple areas of life as well. So let me see. I'm gonna see if we're gonna get a different deck really quick or if we're gonna close it out. Quite interesting. We are going to get into this deck really quick and just see what else wants to come out really fast. But what's interesting about this message, and what the messages that have been coming through for this energy the past, few days, really, maybe a little bit longer, but um, it's this energy of like, it's so weird. And sometimes, I've experienced this too on the journey, and it can be really difficult. It's this energy of like literally the only thing you're being guided to do by the divine right now is to reach out to your person. Like, that is your guidance. And it's one of those you might be looking for guidance on, like, how do I navigate this aspect of life? How do I navigate this? I want this cleared up first. I want to do this first, and so on and so forth. And the divine coming through, like, no, the only guidance you're getting right now is to reach out to your person. And then from there, we'll guide you on how to clean up this other stuff. We'll guide you on how to bring in, make your dreams a reality in other ways. But for right now, this is front and center. This is what you're being guided to do. Which is just wild. Like, and we do hit certain points like that on the journey where we're not going to be fully able to do much of anything else when it comes to manifestation and changing certain life things. Like, you can make little changes, you can do a little more healing, stuff like that, but it's one of these things, like, you're not going to experience big stuff popping in, like, all of this guidance and quantum manifestation and all of these things until you reach out. And so it's one of these things, like, it literally, you getting into alignment fully hinges on you reaching out to your counterpart. And again, it's not even saying, like, you need to reach out and make a romantic offer. It's just saying, like, you need to reach out. You just need to reach out. You need to break no contact. And then that alone is going to give you the clarity to, uh to move forward in life. But it's something, like, it hinges on you reaching out to your counterpart right now. Like, that is what you're being guided to do. That is your next step. So if you're like, well, I know I need to reach out, but give me guidance on this, give me guidance on that, give me guidance on this, give me guidance on that, and you're not getting the guidance, it's because the divine is coming through and saying, no, we're not giving you the guidance because you need to reach out, because it's you reaching out, that is what is pushing you into alignment. That's what's allowing you to start this new life. And then you're going to get guidance on how to navigate other situations in life. But for right now, you're literally like, I'm seeing just all of these doors close. You're like, give me guidance on this one. And the divine's like closing that door and closing that door and closing that door. And so when you're trying to do things in other areas of life, you're going to get head spinny energy. You're not going to get clear signs and synchronicities around it, because the thing you're being guided to do right now for your highest good, to get into alignment with your highest self at the moment, is literally to reach out to this person. So that's what you're going to get guidance on. Anything else, maybe you'll get a little guidance here and there, like on some mundane stuff, should I do this or should I do that? You might get some guidance like that, but you're not getting guidance on big life changes right now, because the thing that you are being asked to do is to reach out to your person. That's an intense ass message. So, we've got Angel of Balance. And so I feel like this is letting you know that you do have this energy around you. Tap into it, pull into it, allow yourself to pull into a balanced energy. This is also something that is really, I'm seeing this also happen. It's like you can kind of tap into this to give you a little bit of balance to reach out. And then when you do reach out and you're in communication with your person, you're going to find more balance in life in general. And then we've got the Patience card here. And what I'm getting from this, sometimes this is talking about waiting for divine timing, but this is actually coming through to let you know that the time is now for this. Divine timing is now, and you have a deep knowing about it. You've gotten signs and synchronicities. If you tap into your intuition and really listen to your actual intuition in the now moment, and you're ignoring the fear and the anxious thoughts that are coming up around it, you have the knowing that it is time. The time is now. Um, yeah. And then I'm also seeing, like, a patience energy, and it kind of came through, I think, with that breathe card as well, where it's like reaching out. It's, I don't see like you reaching out and then all of a sudden you and your person are back together right away. It's this energy of like you reaching out, and then it helps you both to energetically, like, get grounded and anchor in and be like, okay, you know, I'm okay. Whew, now what? And then the guidance comes through. And so you might have to be a little patient if you're wanting to lock in a romantic relationship with your person. You might have to be a little patient on the other side of this communication before that fully locks in. But I do feel like that is the way that this is headed. I really do. I really do feel like it's headed for a romantic union. I feel like that's what both of you are deeply desiring. We've got the temple path. This is talking about staying in alignment, getting on the most aligned path that's available to you right now. Um, connecting with spirit, connecting with your higher self, doing the inner work, so on and so forth. And so it's really, and that's a huge part of this, is like you reaching out to this person is what's going to help, like, fully pull you on the path. Um, Mm, we've got the all tied up card and the community card, and then I heard all tied up with community. So you could be having issues with your community right now, with people around you. This could be even, well, no, I'm getting people. I'm gonna say this can be people, places, and things, but I'm really actually getting interpersonal connections here. And so you could have some attachments to some people in your life, and maybe there's some things that you're not fully seeing that once you connect with your person and you're communicating with your person, you're going to see things a little more clearly when it comes to other connections in your life. So if, that definitely could be part of this as well, is allowing you to see things from a different perspective, to fully shift your community as well, so that you're around more supportive, uplifting people versus people who maybe aren't really, you know, pushing you to get on your dream timeline, basically. Which is the cornucopia card. This is 1111. This is like Treasure Island and cornucopia. That's literally dream timeline. This is master manifestation energy. And so this is the energy you're shifting into after you reach out to your person. And so that's why it's so important for you to do that right now on your path, is because it's going to naturally help you to energetically shift onto your highest timeline, onto the path of, where it's leading to the life of your dreams. No, okay. All right, let's see if anything else wants to come out really quick, and then close it out. This one was a weird reading. I mean, it's a good reading. It took me a minute to get into it. Like it's kind of interesting. Fourth chakra. So there's also heart healing that is on the other side of this. Um, there's a major heart healing for both of you. And then we've got woman holding a heart, which is a feminine who's in love with you. And so I feel like it's talking about really closing this gap between you and this person who is, still in love with you, is what I heard. And who has unconditional love for you. True unconditional love. This is a person who wants to see you be the best version of yourself, even if that means it is not with them. This is a true unconditional loving energy. Um, and it's one of those things, like, your person does want to be with you in a romantic sense. That being said, this is the type of person that if it was more in alignment for you to be with somebody else, they would support you even though it was really painful for them. So this is the type of person you're going towards. So just know that. And that alone, receiving true unconditional love from somebody will give you heart healing. Like, it will. Yeah. And there's also like a reconciliation energy where you can let the past be in the past and not let it be such this cloud over your head. Okay, we've got financial constraints and door to spirit. So by walking through this door to spirit, it's lifting financial constraints. This door to spirit is it's connecting with your higher power. It's connecting with the divine in whatever way you connect with the divine. Um, and it's also one of these things, like, because of this heart healing that's going to happen, our ability to receive love is also tied with our ability to receive finances. And so by you allowing yourself to go towards this person and receive unconditional love and go through this heart healing and also access spirit in a deeper way, that is naturally going to shift your finances very, very rapidly. So just keep that in mind. If you're not in a financial position that you want to be in right now, do not let that stop you from reaching out to this person, because it's something that's going to shift pretty rapidly. And I'm getting like a weird timeline. So what I'm seeing is, it's like you reach out to this person, you guys are platonic, you guys hang out, maybe talk, about, the path, so on and so forth. And then at some point you have like a reconciliation conversation about the past. And then, you're both talking about, like, yes, in the future, maybe sometime soon, I do see like a full blown romantic union. That is what I desire. That is what I want. And then all of a sudden you're like, looking at that, you're looking at soul purpose. And then all of a sudden your finances just shift like overnight. And I'm seeing like a big deposit, like an inheritance, or a jackpot win, or an amazing startup offer, or like something like that. Like, it's like a huge lump sum that you receive after communicating with your person, because it shifts it allows you to heal in a way and shift your energy to where you're more open to receive love and also finances. There is a correlation with that. um and if you're blocked off to receiving unconditional love and allowing yourself to be fully unconditionally loved, it's going to block your finances. And I feel like that might be something that you're working through right now, is because I feel like you have the ability to unconditionally love your person. I feel like you unconditionally love your counterpart. That is a normal dynamic. And so it's one of those, like, you giving unconditional love to your person, even energetically, might feel a little bit easier, but receiving that back might be where the wound lies, that you are getting ready to fully heal and integrate, and that is going to shift your finances and allow you to end up in this, like, money energy. We've got attachment. Okay. It's very, very important when you go towards this person to allow yourself to be the most authentic version of yourself that you can be. Be you. Don't worry about how they're going to look at you or view you or whatever. Just it's more of that energy of, like, standing in your authentic self and, like, yeah, I did some things I'm not proud of. And your person's going to be like, yeah, I did too. Like, holy shit, we do some weird things when we're unconscious and we forget our connection to spirit. Um, we're trying to find that connection in other things, vices and all sorts of shit. So yeah. But it's one of these things, like, allow yourself to stand in your authenticity and to just be you, and don't worry about trying to, like, come off a certain way or have your person view you a certain way. Allow yourself to just be like, look, this is me. This is how I feel. This is what I want with you. What say you? And allow your person here, confirmation, allow your person to meet you there, because that is where the energy of this dynamic, that's the goal of this dynamic, is for you both to be in that completely authentic state, open, honest, and completely vulnerable, which is scary as hell. But it's one of those, that's the energy to be in when you go towards this person and communicate and just be like, like, I'm hearing a masculine say, like, I fucked up. I didn't realize this. I didn't know what I had till it was gone. Then there's something about ghosting. So maybe there was a ghosting energy of, like, you just kind of fell off and, cut off communication or something like that. And it's one of those, just like, yeah, I'm not proud of it, but it is what it is. That's what I did. And I can explain to you why. We can talk about that. um but this is how I truly, view the situation. This is what I actually deeply desire with you at this point on the journey. And then it's one of those, your person will have the chance to communicate back with you what they desire and meet you in that authenticity. So make sure that you're really focused on that when you go towards your person. Allow yourself to just be authentically you, and give your person the chance to hold you in that energy, because there's a very nurturing energy coming from your feminine. Your feminine can hold you in your entirety, you know, past mistakes and, unhealed wounds and all. You're not going to scare your person off. Just know that. That's not this energy. This is an energy of your person's like, dude, I'm 10 toes down, so let's do this shit. But, authenticity and vulnerability have to run the show. But, like, and communication, clear communication. And it can even be like, dude, I'm going through something, I don't know what it is, but I'm going through a process that's nothing to do with you. And then your person will be like, okay, cool, if you need some help or whatever, let me know, but I'll give you the space and time that you need to process it, because your feminine's processed a lot of shit on this journey, so your feminine knows how that works. So it's just clear communication, that's going to be very, very important. And rest and rejuvenation. How interesting. There's something about you and your person reaching out to each other that's going to allow you each to rest in a very deep way. Like, I'm seeing, like, insomnia dissipating. I'm seeing, like, restless nights, restless days. I just heard restless days. Maybe some of you work graveyard. Um but it's like this restless energy, not being able to sleep, being up at weird hours, not being on a good sleep schedule. And I'm seeing it for both of you. And then I'm seeing like once you reach out, it's that relief energy, it's that anchor point, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, cool. All right, yes, this really is happening. Okay, cool. So I can fucking sleep now. Like, oh, how wonderful would that be? Get a full chunk of sleep. Just saying. Yeah, caring connections. So yeah, this is definitely a soulmate romantic energy that you're headed towards, and it is going to allow you both to rest and rejuvenate on a very, very deep level. And that's just an energy thing that happens between you two communicating and really working on life together. Yeah, because I just moved the cornucopia card on top of that. So it's working on your dream timeline together that is going to allow you to fully rest and rejuvenate at deep level. This is shifting from a carbon-based structure to a crystalline structure. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that's okay. It's the body shift that we're going through, shifting from a very dense energy to a less dense energy. It's literally changing the structure of our it's turning on extra strands of DNA. Like there's a whole physical thing that goes on when we're shifting and ascending. So it's this energy of like you both really being able to fully shift into that more crystalline version, which is where you're accessing spirit in a very different way. And then you're really, living fully in alignment with source most of the time. You're not bouncing back and forth in and out of alignment constantly. It's definitely a major lasting shift. I got a woman holding a coin. This could be how you're viewing your feminine right now. Is you might and that might be actually true. Your feminine might be in a different financial position than you are, and that might be part of what is stopping you from going towards them. But your feminine can see beneath the surface. Your feminine knows that you're not going towards them for finances. So if that's a concern, don't let that stop you. This is something your feminine can see your intention a mile away. So just know that your feminine's going to know that you're not coming back around for financial assistance. Like, because I'm not getting that in this energy at all. I'm not feeling like that's something that you desire, that's something that you want. Um, so if your feminine is in a slightly different financial position than you are, just know that they have the ability to see beneath the surface and they're going to know your intentions long before you open your mouth. Just just saying. Matter of fact, even not in contact, your feminine knows your intentions. So just know that. And second chakra, this is the energy center in the body that sits between the solar plexus, the belly button, and the base of the spine. The color's orange. It has to do with passion and creativity and pleasure. So, I definitely feel like you have a very sensual connection with your person. You might be daydreaming about different physical encounters. You might be receiving some sensual energy from your person. Um, um, mhm, mhm. The other thing too is there is a creative energy coming through with this. So you and your person, yes, there is sensual energy. There is banging chemistry, like physical chemistry for sure. But the other thing that is coming through with this as well, um, is coming together to create together. And you might realize that your creativity really comes back online after communicating with your person. You've got Door to Romance on the bottom, so it is here. Um, it is here for you. Again, it's one of those like it might take a little bit of time to get to that point. For some of you, maybe not. It just depends on what you and your person are dealing with in your external life and what you have to clean up and let go of and release and so on and so forth. If you're both married, it might take some time. If you're both just in a situationship or boyfriend girlfriend kind of situation, it might take less time. Like it's just gonna vary, but it's one of those like there's definitely a romantic energy coming through. That's something you both are desiring with each other. You both feel like home to each other, and It's a beautiful connection, it really, really is, and it's one of these things, like, you're being given the opportunity to get off of the wheel of karma and to really shift into this aligned path where you can have this beautiful, uplifting, caring connection, plus your dream reality. Like, this is, soul purpose activating and doing something for a career that lights you up every day. It's so much more than just the relationship too. I don't know what that is. I came out with the goddess of the moon. Is that in reverse? Goddess of the Moon is talking about intuition. In reverse, it could be talking about blocking your intuition or not listening to it. And then we've got deceit. So there could be something where you're still not fully listening to your intuition because you're dealing with like deceitful thoughts. Um I don't know how to word it, so I'm being told to read it. Um okay. Hidden tactics, manipulation. So it's talking about deception going on in your life. The person hiding behind the curtain is likely someone you know or deal with either personally or professionally. It could be regarding a personal issue like someone spreading rumors or disrespecting you to others. It could be a business matter where details are being hidden or manipulated. Be aware of what's going on in your life. Make sure you have all the information you need to keep things honest and secure. A deeper layer can actually be the deception is coming from within yourself. Is there something you're lying to yourself about? In this case, the things in this bag on this card could be holding things like self-esteem, happiness, and leisure time. Whether it's about your life or yourself, remember the universe has a hard time sending you honoring experiences if your energy is shrouded in self-deceit. Okay. So this could okay, and then we've got the intuition card in reverse. So yeah, what I'm getting is it's like your intuition is telling you to do yeah, reach out really. That's mainly what your intuition is probably telling you right now. But there's something where you're not allowing yourself to fully hear it. And that was coming through earlier too. So I feel like this is just confirmation that yeah, just be really mindful of these kinds of things. And if you're really worried about reaching out, it's one of those like kind of unpack why. Like, why is it that much of a thing for you to reach out and be open, honest, and vulnerable? Are you a little scared of being truly seen and authentic in front of somebody? Is it the fact that you'll have to take accountability? Is it, what you're gonna have to let go of? Is it the fact that there's a part of you that's still dealing with a worthiness wound where you don't feel worthy of your counterpart? What is it that is driving this kind of self-deceit energy that is not allowing you to take this step forward and do some time to unpack that. And then at some point it's one of those like, I'm kind of seeing this energy where you're kind of probably going to get to a point where you're just like, I just need to know. And so you're just going to reach out and see if this is really something that is available to you. Um and it is. If you're here at this point in the reading, it is. This is really what's waiting for you on the other side of this communication. It's just one of those, I feel like you're really up in your head about it right now. The other thing that's coming through is the external manipulation. So if you've been dealing with a lot of manipulative people in your external world, that could be part of what's also kind of giving you the energy to like make a pause before reaching out because there might be a part of you that's worried that you're going to deal with that with your person. I feel like you've got a knowing though that your person isn't like that. I'm not getting a manipulative energy off your counterpart at all. Um I feel like this is a person that's just, very much like they're transparent in certain ways. They're especially in relationship, like a romantic relationship. This is somebody they're just not manipulative. They don't want to manipulate or control. And I'm hearing it's because they've been on the other end of that, so they don't want to do that to another person. So just know that, yeah, your person's gone through some shit. Um, but yeah, it's really, really important to do what you can to listen to your intuition right now because your intuition is telling you how to navigate this. And the thing is I feel like part of you is blocking it because the thing that your intuition is telling you to do is the thing that is bringing you chaos and conflict internally. because it's going to be such a leap of faith. It's such a I mean, it's completely like I'm feeling this energy of feeling super exposed and just completely just like vulnerable. And that's a very scary thing to do, especially if you've been hurt a lot. So getting in that energy to be like, okay, I'm going towards the one person that could break me, and I have to go open and vulnerable. That's scary. And interestingly enough, I'm getting a little bit of a thread of that energy on your counterpart side. So that's a mirrored thing. So that might be something you two kind of work together. Like, okay, I'm doing my best to be vulnerable, but this is fucking scary. Like this is scary. You're gonna have to give me some time. We're gonna have to ease into this, but I do want this with you, and I know it requires authenticity and vulnerability, but you're gonna have to give me some time to fully drop my guard down because of life. And so that might be part of it too, where it's a little bit guarded at first, but you're not masking. You're not fully guarded, completely locked down. It's an energy of like, okay, like I want to let you in, but I need to know it's safe to do so. And then it just gonna, kind of takes consistency and communication to really drop those layers. So keep that in mind. It doesn't have to be something where you're just 1,000%, this is everything that I'm feeling deeply, and so on and so forth. If that's what you're guided to do and you feel comfortable doing that, by all means. But if it takes a little bit, you kind of ease into it, um, that's okay too. That's a-okay too. And there's something where when you reach out to this person and you start communicating with them, this intuition card, I'm seeing it flip. I'm seeing it all of a sudden, like like a ton of things become clear, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's my intuition. This is what my intuition is guiding me to do next. Like my intuition's back online. That's kind of the energy that's coming through too. So just know that as well. And again, it's not what you say to your person, it's the fact that you are communicating with them and having that open line of communication. For a lot of you, I'm getting that some of these beginning conversations are going to have to do with your soul connection and spiritual awakening. So just start with that, bridge the gap with that, and then let this other stuff, these deeper feelings and, the past situation, all of that, let that come up when it naturally feels right to come up, for it to come up. Okay, that's the guidance coming through. So, yeah, with that, I'm going to go ahead and leave this here. I was not expecting this to be as long of a message again, but here we are. I hope this helps. If you would like to let me know about any of your journey, I would love to talk to you about it. Feel free to let me know in the comments below. You got this. You can do it. You can do it. Get out of your head a little bit and just do it. You're going to feel so much better. And that's coming from my human self, not necessarily the divine, but I feel like the divine's kind of saying the same thing. Um, but you're going to be so relieved when you allow yourself to actually take this step. So focus on that. All right. Wishing you all the best. You got this. You're on this journey for a reason. Remember that you're worthy of this connection. You're worthy of your counterpart. Your counterpart desires you to. It is safe to go towards them. Alrighty. Well, if you like this message, feel free to hit that like button. It does help out the channel. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you would like to see more from me, you can hit subscribe. It is free. I will see you on the next message. Bye.